Welcome back, week 3. You've done really, really well, so thank you. If you haven't kept up with the tasks, don't beat yourself up. Say thank you for being here listening, congratulate yourself for that, and just give yourself the time. But do take the time, because transformation occurs when we take action. And these actions aren't, I'm not asking you to sort of skydive or really push yourself outside your comfort zone that much, but maybe these actions are a little bit outside your comfort zone. Like, they will help you create transformation. Sometimes when I'm doing different things, I'm like, yeah, but at least I don't have to skydive or bungee jump, because that would be really, really outside my comfort zone. But you can push yourself a little bit. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't got there yet, but this is important if you really want to transform, to take the actions. And this week we're doing the second two, we're doing 2 parts of the TWINME methodology. We're doing the W and the I. And the W is why. There's a really great book called, what's it called? It's by Simon Sinek, and it's also about Know Your Why, I think it's called. And anyway, look up Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. He does a lot on what your why is. And if you have a strong why you're doing something, it gives you the motivation to keep going. And so having a strong why is really important. Why do you want to age young? Why? Why is that? And so one of the exercises to find your whys, I'm going to tell you the exercise. You don't need to do it right now, or if you're watching this on the replay, you might want to do this and then stop the video and do something and then come back to it. It's up to you, or you could leave it for the week. This is one of the tasks for this week is finding your why and figuring it out and doing this exercise. And sometimes it's like, how do I get into that? And a good way to try and get into what your why is to first think about what really bothers you, something that upsets you, something that you feel strongly about. Tap into that, because there'll be something. So in terms of aging, I look at my mum and my dad in their late 80s and 86 and 92, my parents. And they've both got disabilities, and that really upsets me. And so that's the first thing. Find something that bothers you or that causes you issues, and then ask yourself this question: so why is that important? Or so what? You could either go so what. So you can either use the so what approach, or you can use why is that important. It doesn't really matter, whatever. I sometimes say my why is so what until you cry. And so if you get to a why that makes you cry, that's great. But even if you don't, try and go 7 deep. And if you keep getting the same thing at level 3 or 4, then that's probably your why. But basically that's the process. So let me just show you how mine might work. So why does it bother me that my parents are disabled? It's like, well, they've lost their independence. It's like, well, why is that important? So what? Well, they have to have people do things for them. So why is that important? Well, they can't do things when they want. They rely on other people. So why is that important? Well, they just can't choose to do what they want to do when they want to do it. So why is that important? It's like, well, they have lost their freedom to choose. It's like, oh, so why is that important? It's like, because freedom is a core value of mine. Freedom to choose to do what I want to do when I want to do it is a core value of mine. So my why for doing this is to maintain my freedom to choose to do what I want to do. Do you see how I got there? Now yours might be completely different, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but try and tap into that. And it's, I said that this is a dynamic process. It doesn't have to be mind-blowing. Just find a why. And it might be not one that makes you cry, because they're not always, but sometimes they find a why that makes you cry. Well, they don't always make you cry. But find a why using this process. So figure it out, something, and write it down. And doesn't matter if it's not the most mind-blowing why. It doesn't matter if it's something for you, it works for you. And remember, this is a dynamic process. So the next time you go through this process, your why might be a bit different. And that's okay. In my business, I also have a process where I work out my why. And I was actually like, in a process, like, actually, I'm really in a slump in my business. And I realized that my why had changed. And I was like, oh, that why doesn't mean anything to me anymore. That why hasn't got the drive. And I had to do a process to find out, okay, what is my new why? So that's how the why comes in. But it is very important for achieving goals. And we want to achieve our goals, so this is an important part of the process. And that'll be the task for this week, is to create that. You don't have to spend ages on it, but just give yourself time to do that. And then the next point is I. And the I is imagine, is to really visualize what it's like. And you can choose in a year, you can choose 5 years, in 10 years, in 20. I often use the 20 year, so I might envision how my life is going to look in 5 years, but then create it as well in 20. And so the thing about envisioning, to make it really important, is to think about, sometimes it's really hard to go, I don't really know what it's going to look like. But you know how you want to feel. So what are the feelings that you want? I mentioned before, I want to always feel free to choose how I want to choose. I want to feel calm. I want to feel connected to people and to my intuition. And I want to feel vital and youthful and energetic. So I have feelings that I want. So tap into what are the feelings that you want, because in the first instance, if you don't feel those things already, maybe one of your vitality codes could just be, I'm going to tap into that feeling that I want. I'm going to say that feeling. I want to wake up every morning and I'll go, after you've done your gratitude. So don't you forget that. After you've done your gratitude, you might say, I want to feel free, calm, at peace, and connected to people, even if they're not with me right now. You know, whatever that feeling is. Because you might need to do that to make that a habit. And that's fine. So, so that's the first thing. You're going to make that a habit. So my imagine, I've got a magic formula for that as well, and the magic are things that help you tap into it. So first of all, you're going to, what is this feeling that I want? And then to tap into it, it's like, wouldn't it be cool if? So like now that you've got that feeling clear, wouldn't it be cool if? And we're going to use the magic formula. So the M is memories. Wouldn't it be cool if? And this is, what memories do you want to create? I mean, some people, I suppose, call this their bucket list. If you want to do that, that's fine. What are the memories you want to create? You know, I want to, maybe you do want to climb Mount Everest. But, what are the things that the memories that you want to create, the experiences, the memories that you want to create? So that's the M. Wouldn't it be cool if? And remember, that's that feeling that you want to have. Because what would give you that feeling? So, oh, wouldn't it be cool that? Because that would definitely make me feel free. That would definitely make me feel whatever. So what are the memories? The A is, what are the assets you want to have? And it's not, this is sort of like, so do you want to live, what do you want your future to look like? Do you want to be in a mortgage-free home? Do you want to be, a wandering nomad in an RV or a camper van? Do you want to actually be, in a sort of a house at your son, your daughter's house? What is it? What are the assets you want? Do you want to drive an electric car, or do you want to have a motorbike? What are the things that you want? Because this is, you don't have to have a lot of material things, but what is it that you want? Do you want to have a house that's sustainable? That creates its own energy? That would come to being an asset. Then the G is growth. What sort of growth do you personally want to have? Do you want to have learned another language? Do you want to have learned to dance the tango, or something like this? What sort of growth do you want to have from your point of view? Wouldn't it be cool if? then I is income. And I think it's worth thinking about that, because a lot of us in 20 years won't be working. We may have been retired, but where is our income coming from? Are we, and it might just be, look, I'm happy to live off the government pension. Yeah, I'll be, but just think about it, because, if you don't think about it now, in 20 years it might be a bit harder to think about. Never too late. I stop myself from saying too late, never too late, because you can always change. But, it might be more difficult. So think about it now. Do I want to create some leveraged income, some residual income, so that I keep getting paid for stuff I'm doing now over and over and over for years and years and years to come? So think about that. And the last letter is G. C. I can't even spell magic. MAGIC. And it's contribution. What contribution do I want to make? What contribution do I want to make to my family? What contribution do I want to make to my community, to the world? Do I want to have set up, do I want to have helped? It might be my contribution is like, I really want to make a difference to the oceans. And my contribution may be local in my community, going cleaning up beaches, or it may be, being part of a more global thing. It doesn't have to be a huge contribution, but just think about, what do I want to give? Because giving, for us to receive and get what we want in life, giving is a really important thing. It's just like, if you want to get, you've got to give. So that's how you pretty much go through and figure out those things using that formula. Some of them might not be that important to you, and that's fine. That's fine. You might not want it, but if you just use that formula, it'll be like a little reminder to us. There's something here. Wouldn't it be cool if? Oh, wouldn't it be cool if? So now you've created that and you've got the feelings that you want. Now you write it out as a vision. This is your task for the week. And you write it out in the present tense. I am. And you date it. So, and it is, and write the date. So today, whatever the day is, so today's 2000 and, whatever. I can't, because I've pre-recorded this. I can't even get my mind around what date you'll be watching it. You'll be watching it probably on the 31st of January. So the 31st of January 2023, I am sitting on the veranda in my beautiful house that's got, solar panels, so I don't have to, send energy back. I love the laughter that's coming from, the lawn where I've got my family gathering for this particular day, because celebrating, it's a summer celebration. Everyone's coming for a barbecue. I'm so grateful that I got to, go bungee jumping yesterday. I really was excited. I love the freedom that I felt with that. Or whatever. So you're writing, it's like you write a paragraph or you write a few paragraphs. Just let yourself free write. It is the state, and just imagine all of the things. But instead of imagining I'm going to have this, I want that, you imagine as if you've got them. You say, I am, I have this, I'm grateful for this. And starting your sentence with I'm happy and grateful is always, it's a really good way for bringing intentions to life. And maybe I'll talk about that in a minute. So you're going to write this out. So I'm just going to come and talk about intention. So I mentioned at the beginning of this course that I was interested in quantum physics, and we are energetic beings, and we have a quantum field around us. And honestly, quantum physics I find a little bit hard to really get my head around, but I sort of know the concepts. But it's sort of like I know how the concepts about how a car works, but I don't really know how a car works. Like I couldn't fix one, but do you know what I mean? So, but I know how to turn it on, and I know that turning it on creates this. It creates a whole lot of processes in the engine, which actually means we move forward. Okay, so that's what I know. And so in quantum physics, I know how to turn the key, and I know what the result is. Exactly what's happening in the middle, I don't know. But what I do know about this is that there's the quantum field is around, and there are many possibilities, and they say there are many realities, and that we can tap into the reality, so we can create a new reality. And you do it with intention and with elevated emotion. It's two things. Elevated emotion alone won't do it. intention alone won't do it. Remember, intention is what we're saying. Intention is our thoughts. And in this process, it's our vision, I am. You have created this vision, I am, and you're adding an elevated emotion, which is thankfulness, gratitude. I'm so grateful that I am able to sit on the veranda in my beautiful home and share this beautiful day, that I hear the birds singing. It's warm. I feel the warmth on my skin with my family, and we're having such fun and laughter. And, I'm so grateful that I have been able to, learn to tango, and that I was on in a competition yesterday, and I won a gold prize for the tango prize. I don't know if that's going to be me or not, but, do you see, you write it, and you write it with gratitude. And in writing it as well, I want you to involve as many of your senses. So, I see the trees, the beautiful green, the sky is blue, I feel the sun on my cheeks. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? All of those things can be incorporated, if it's appropriate, into this vision. So it's I am, feelings, senses, and it's already done with lots of gratitude. So all of that combination is very, very powerful in writing it down. And then that's the vision for a year. And now you're there. So that's done. Now that you've written that down, it's actually done. You don't really need to worry about it. In the world of, quantum physics, it's done. So put yourself there and think, okay, what next? What's my vision beyond the vision? So that might be when you then, okay, in 20 years. But when you write the 20-year vision, you write it from the place that you've already got all of the things in the 1 year or the 5-year vision, or the first vision that you did. Do you see what I mean? So you're going to do a vision for whatever time frame in the future, and then you're going to put yourself in that time frame and do another vision for further in the future. And use the same thing. What are the feelings? Maybe when you get to this vision, the feelings that you want, when you've got those feelings, you've got all of that, the feelings that you want in the future will be slightly different. So then put those there and then go, well, wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if? And use the memories. What are the memories that I'd like to be creating? The experiences. What are the assets? What is the growth, the personal growth that I'd like to have? What is the income then, and what is my contribution? Maybe, but when you've got that, like, oh, I can make a bigger contribution. So you want to do your vision now and your vision beyond the vision. Because also in doing that, you're programming your body to realize, and your cells, your whole reality, to know that there isn't a finite place you're going. It's not like, oh, I'll get there and then what? It'll be just like, so why rush to get there, eh? Why rush? Because then I'll just be stuck there. You don't want to have that mentality. So you're not, okay, I'm going to get there, because when I get there, I'm going to go there. And when I go there, and so just having a vision beyond the vision helps create the vision more rapidly, if you like. Okay, I'll just check that I've got everything there. And so I am also putting up an optional activation this week. I'm putting up an optional activation, and an activation is quantum flow. So I am a quantum flow practitioner. So it's a practice. It's based on ancient practices like Qigong and yoga, and it incorporates modern things like quantum physics and neuroplasticity to create this mind-body practice. And I like to think of as the 3 C's. Like, I love these things. Like little reminders of the 3 C's is that you clear your energetic field. Because, in clearing our energetic field is also clearing some of those old beliefs. Those old beliefs and thoughts get stuck in our energetic nervous system, our nervous system, which is an energetic system, and we can help clear those out with certain practices. So we clear out those so that we can connect. We connect with our higher self, our higher inspiration, our inner genius. We connect with that, and when we connect with that, that's when we're able to create magic. So I'm going to give you a quantum flow activation in here. I have used we have an intention that we set. Now you can set your own intention. And when I'm saying that intention in the activation in your head, you can say whatever you want to say about what you want to bring into your life. It might be peace, it might be love, it might be calm, it might be abundance. But in this activation, I've used I am eternal, because I wanted it to be timeless. I wanted to have, what if time wasn't a factor? What would you do? Would you do more? Because sometimes time being a limiting factor, we cut short things. Oh, there isn't time to do that. I won't. And so what if you really were ageless and your cells were ageless? What would that possibility look like? So this is why I've used I am eternal and timeless in the activation. And feel free to do it. It's optional, but that will be available for this week. The biohack that I want you to do this week, so I don't know if you realise, but you're already doing 2 biohacks. You're doing the breathing exercise and you are doing the gratitude. They're both biohacks, and hopefully you've been ticking them off regularly. So you've done your biohacks, and the biohack for this week is one where I want you to understand that when you see obstacles as challenges rather than threats, we know that you get longer telomeres. So how do you do that? Well, you do that by, when a situation presents itself and you're like, oh my gosh, like suddenly something blows up in the house or some terrible thing happens, just say to yourself, I've got this. That's all I want you to do. I'll make it easy. I said I'll make it easy. I've got this. I want you to remember that. I've got this. And I want you to, every morning after you wake up and you've done your gratitude, I want you to say, everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. So that in itself is like, whatever comes to me, it always works out. Because it's giving this idea that whatever challenges come your way, whatever obstacles come your way, you will overcome them. And we will talk a little bit more about this when we get to the next steps. We'll go into a little bit more detail. But right now, you can just start with, everything always works out for me. Because it's like looking at, and then add in, if you get any obstacles coming your way, I've got this. I've got this. So that's the biohack. Okay, so the tasks for this week. Add in that biohack. If you want to do the quantum flow activation, do that. You might want to alternate that with the gratitude meditation. They're both tapping into different places in your nervous system. And finally, what I want you to do is, last week you wrote down on a page your limiting beliefs and thoughts and actions, and remember you reframed them on the other side of the page. Why don't you rip out the page with all the things that were disempowering and limiting, and I want you to burn it. I want you to burn it. I want you to transform that energy into something else, that sort of that stuck energy. Burn it and release it. Make it a little ritual. Say, I am releasing you to the universe or whatever. But actually just burn that as a ritual to say, you are no longer part of my reality. And that, I think, is it for this week. And next week, we're going to really get into really looking at all the different mind, body, soul hacks that you can incorporate. I've added some for you. Now you've got 3 now that I've added. You may choose to keep those at the end of the program or not, or they may just be automatic by the end of the program. But I want you to tick off every time you do the things that you do. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon.